wake up from a dream so vivid, so achingly familiar, that for a moment you're not sure which reality is real. You're standing in a place you've never been, wearing clothes from a century you've never lived in, speaking a language you've never learned. Yet everything feels like home, like memory, like truth. Your rational mind dismisses it as imagination, but your soul is whispering something different. It's telling you that what you experienced wasn't a dream at all. It was a memory bleeding through from another lifetime, another you, another chapter in the endless story of your eternal existence. What if I told you that your soul remembers everything, every lifetime, every death, every love, every lesson learned across the vast expanse of time? What if these memories are constantly trying to surface, leaving breadcrumbs of recognition scattered throughout your current life, waiting for you to piece together the magnificent tapestry of who you really are? The ancient ones knew this truth. They understood that consciousness doesn't die with the body, that the soul is an eternal traveler, collecting experiences like precious gems across multiple incarnations. They recognized the signs, the subtle whispers of past life memory that most of us dismiss as coincidence, imagination, or wishful thinking. But you're here because something inside you suspects there's more to your story, something beyond this single lifetime, beyond this one identity, beyond the narrow confines of what society tells you is possible. You're here because your soul is ready to remember, and the universe is conspiring to help you recognize the signs that have been there all along. Deep within the essence of who you are lies something that science cannot measure, that skeptics cannot explain away, that even death cannot touch. It's your soul's eternal memory bank, a vast library of experiences that spans not just this lifetime, but countless others, stretching back to the very beginning of your consciousness journey. This isn't stored in your brain, which is merely the temporary hardware of your current incarnation. This memory exists in what mystics call the soul body, the eternal aspect of yourself that carries forward from life to life, accumulating wisdom, carrying forward unresolved patterns, and remembering every moment of love, loss, triumph, and transformation you've ever experienced. But here's where it gets fascinating. When you incarnate into a new body, a new life, a veil of forgetfulness descends. This isn't a cruel trick played by the universe. It's actually an act of cosmic compassion. Imagine trying to live fully in this moment if you consciously remembered every past life trauma, every ancient heartbreak, every death you've ever experienced. The weight of all that history would be crushing. So the veil descends, allowing you to experience this lifetime with fresh eyes, to make new choices, to explore different aspects of your eternal nature. But the memories don't disappear. They slip into what we might call the soul's subconscious, continuing to influence your preferences, your fears, your inexplicable attractions and aversions. These past life memories surface in the most unexpected ways. That instant expertise you seem to have in a skill you've never formally learned. That phobia that makes no sense given your current life experiences. That place you've never been that feels more like home than anywhere you've ever lived. That person you've just met who feels like family, like an old friend, like someone you've been waiting your entire life to find again. Your soul is constantly trying to communicate these ancient memories to your conscious mind, but it has to speak in a language beyond words. It communicates through dreams that feel more real than waking life, through sudden, inexplicable emotions, through body memories that have no basis in your current experience, through synchronicities that seem too meaningful to be coincidence. The most awakened individuals throughout history have learned to recognize these communications, to distinguish between the chatter of the current personality and the deeper wisdom of the eternal soul. They've developed what we might call soul literacy, the ability to read the signs, interpret the messages, and integrate the wisdom of multiple lifetimes into their current existence. Tonight, when you close your eyes and drift into sleep, your conscious mind finally releases its grip on this reality. The rational, skeptical part of you that questions everything goes quiet, and suddenly, the door opens to realms that exist beyond the limitations of your current identity. This is when your soul often chooses to share its deepest secrets, to offer glimpses of who you've been, where you've walked, what you've learned in lifetimes that your waking mind has no memory of. These aren't ordinary dreams filled with the random imagery of your daily experiences. These are soul memories, past life fragments breaking through the veil of forgetfulness. How can you tell the difference? Past life dreams have a quality that's unmistakable once you know what to look for. They feel more real than real life, more vivid than your most intense waking experiences. Colors seem more saturated, emotions more profound, every detail etched with crystal clarity. You wake up not with the usual fading quality of dreams, but with memories so sharp they could have happened yesterday. In these dreams, you might find yourself in historical periods you've studied extensively, but with knowledge that goes beyond what you've read in books. You know the smell of the marketplace in ancient Rome, the feel of cobblestones under your feet in medieval Europe, the sound of temple bells in ancient India. You know these things not because you've learned them, but because you've lived them. Sometimes these dreams are episodic, returning night after night, continuing a story that seems to have its own internal logic, its own narrative arc. You might dream repeatedly of the same person, the same place, the same unresolved situation. Your soul is trying to help you understand something important, to process an experience that still holds significance for your current journey. The emotions in these dreams often seem disproportionate to the content. You might dream of losing someone you don't recognize in your current life, yet wake up with a grief so profound it takes hours to shake off. You might dream of a place you've never been, yet wake up with a homesickness so intense it brings tears to your eyes. These aren't just dreams, they're your soul grieving, celebrating, or longing for experiences that shaped who you are across multiple lifetimes. Pay attention to the recurring symbols, the consistent themes, the people who appear again and again. Your soul is trying to tell you a story, to help you understand patterns that have followed you across lifetimes, to recognize souls who have been part of your journey for longer than you can imagine. It's encoded in what mystics call the etheric body, the energetic template that shapes your physical form and carries forward the imprints of all your incarnations. This is why some people are born with unexplained scars, birthmarks that seem to tell stories, or physical traits that seem to echo from another time. That birthmark on your shoulder might mark the place where an arrow pierced you in a medieval battle. That scar you've had since birth might correspond to a wound that ended a previous lifetime. These aren't random genetic quirks. They're your soul's way of carrying forward the most significant physical experiences from past incarnations. But the body remembers in more subtle ways too. You might have inexplicable physical reactions to certain situations that have no basis in your current life experience. The sound of horses galloping might make your heart race with terror, echoing a traumatic death in a past life. The smell of smoke might trigger panic attacks that seem completely irrational, carrying forward the memory of perishing in a fire centuries ago. Some people find themselves naturally skilled at activities they've never formally studied, as if their body remembers movements, techniques, and knowledge from previous lifetimes. A child who picks up a musical instrument and plays with uncanny skill might be accessing muscle memory from a past life as a professional musician. Someone who seems to have an intuitive understanding of combat techniques might be remembering training from a lifetime as a warrior. Your body also holds the memory of past life healing and spiritual practices. You might find yourself naturally falling into meditation postures you've never been taught, or feeling drawn to healing techniques that seem to flow through you without conscious learning. Your hands might seem to know exactly how to provide comfort, how to channel energy, how to facilitate healing in ways that surprise even you. Physical ailments sometimes carry past life significance too. Chronic problems in certain areas of the body might correspond to traumas or areas of focus from previous incarnations. This isn't about blame or punishment. It's about your soul choosing to work through certain patterns, to heal certain imbalances, to complete certain lessons that began in another lifetime. The throat chakra issues of someone who was silenced in a past life, the heart problems of someone who died of heartbreak in another incarnation, the knee problems of someone who spent lifetimes kneeling in service or prayer. Your body becomes a map of your soul's journey, a living record of everywhere you've been and everything you've experienced. Learning to listen to your body's wisdom, to honor its memories and its messages, becomes a way of connecting with your eternal nature. Your physical form in this lifetime isn't just a random collection of genes and experiences. It's a carefully chosen vehicle for your soul's continued evolution, carrying forward the most important imprints of all your previous journeys. There are moments in life when you meet someone and something profound happens that defies all logical explanation. Time seems to stop. The world around you fades away. You look into their eyes and see something that feels like coming home, like finding a piece of yourself you didn't even know was missing. Your rational mind scrambles for explanations, chemistry, attraction, coincidence. But your soul knows better. Your soul is recognizing another soul it has known across multiple lifetimes. These soul recognitions can happen in the most unexpected places, at the most ordinary moments. You're standing in line at a coffee shop, and the person behind you says something that makes you turn around. Your eyes meet, and suddenly you're flooded with emotion you can't explain. Tears spring to your eyes, your heart pounds, and you have the overwhelming sense that you've been waiting your entire life for this moment, even though you've never seen this person before. Sometimes the recognition is instant and overwhelming. Other times it's subtle, a nagging sense of familiarity that grows stronger over time. You might meet someone and feel like you can skip all the getting to know you pleasantries, because some part of you already knows everything important about them. Conversations flow effortlessly, as if you're picking up discussions that began in another lifetime. You understand each other's references, finish each other's sentences, and communicate more through silence and presence than through words. But soul recognition isn't always pleasant or comfortable. Sometimes you meet someone and feel an instant, inexplicable dislike or fear that has no basis in your current experience. This person might represent unfinished business from a past life, karmic patterns that need resolution, or lessons that were left incomplete in previous incarnations. Your soul remembers what your mind has forgotten, and it's trying to alert you to patterns that might be playing out again. The most profound soul recognitions often come with what mystics call the remembering look, a moment when you see past the current personality, the current circumstances, the current roles you're both playing, and glimpse the eternal essence of who this person really is. In that moment, lifetimes of shared experience flood back, not as specific memories, but as a knowing that transcends time and space. Children are often the most open to these recognitions because they haven't yet learned to dismiss such experiences as impossible. A child might meet their grandfather for the first time and immediately climb into his lap, saying something like, "I remember you from before." They might meet a stranger and announce that this person used to be their mommy, or their teacher, or their friend in the other place. These soul recognitions serve important purposes in your current lifetime. They help you find your soul family, the group of beings who have been traveling together across multiple incarnations, supporting each other's growth and evolution. They help you recognize teachers who have important lessons to offer, soulmates who can help you remember who you really are, and even adversaries who can challenge you to grow beyond your current limitations. Learning to trust these recognitions, to honor the wisdom of your soul's memory, even when your mind can't understand it, opens you to relationships of extraordinary depth and significance. These are the connections that transform you, that heal ancient wounds, that help you remember the magnificent being you truly are, beyond the limitations of any single lifetime. Deep within your psyche lie fears that make no rational sense given your current life experience. You've never been in a fire, yet the smell of smoke sends you into inexplicable panic. You've never been near the ocean, yet water deeper than a bathtub fills you with terror that seems way out of proportion to any reasonable concern. You've never been in combat, yet the sound of unexpected loud noises makes you hit the ground, as if seeking cover from enemy fire. These aren't just quirks of personality or random phobias picked up from movies or stories. They're soul memories, imprints from past life experiences so significant, so traumatic, or so defining that they've carried forward into your current incarnation. Your soul remembers what killed you, what trapped you, what caused you the deepest suffering in previous lifetimes, and it's trying to protect you from experiencing those same traumas again. But here's what's fascinating about past life phobias. They often come with inexplicably specific details that your current mind couldn't possibly know. Someone with a fear of drowning might have detailed knowledge about how it feels to have water fill their lungs, even though they've never experienced anything close to that in their current life. Someone terrified of being burned might have visceral reactions to the smell of charred wood that go far beyond normal discomfort. These fears often manifest in childhood, before the person has been exposed to traumatic imagery or stories that could explain such intense reactions. A child who screams in terror at the sight of men in uniform, who has nightmares about being separated from their family, who shows signs of trauma with no apparent cause in their current life. They might be remembering persecution, war, or forced displacement from a previous incarnation. Sometimes these phobias are more subtle but equally telling. An inexplicable fear of commitment might stem from a past life where love led to betrayal or abandonment. A terror of being alone might echo lifetimes where isolation meant death. A phobia about speaking in public might carry forward the memory of being silenced, punished, or even executed for speaking truth to power in another era. But past life memories don't only surface as fears. Sometimes they manifest as inexplicable attractions to dangerous situations, as if your soul is trying to master something it couldn't handle in a previous lifetime. Someone who feels compelled to climb mountains might be working through a past life death from falling. Someone drawn to extreme sports might be processing past life experiences with violence or sudden death. The key to recognizing past life phobias is their irrational intensity and their resistance to normal therapeutic approaches. These fears don't respond well to logic or gradual exposure because they're not based on current life experiences. They require a different kind of healing, one that acknowledges the soul's history and works to release patterns that no longer serve your evolution. Many people find that past life regression therapy, meditation practices that access soul memories, or energy healing techniques that work with the eternal aspects of your being can help resolve these deep-seated fears. When you understand that your terror of enclosed spaces might stem from being buried alive in a past life, when you recognize that your fear of abandonment echoes actual experiences of being left to die in previous incarnations, you can begin to heal not just the current symptoms, but the ancient wounds that created them. Have you ever picked up a skill and mastered it with an ease that surprised everyone, including yourself? Have you ever felt drawn to a particular craft, art form, or area of knowledge with an intensity that seemed to come from somewhere deeper than mere interest? Have you ever found yourself knowing things you've never studied, understanding concepts you've never been taught, or demonstrating abilities that seem to flow through you rather than from you? These aren't just happy accidents of genetics or hidden talents waiting to be discovered. They're echoes of mastery achieved in previous lifetimes, skills so deeply ingrained in your soul's memory that they transcend the boundaries of individual incarnations. Your eternal self has been learning, growing, and developing expertise across multiple lifetimes, and sometimes that accumulated knowledge breaks through into your current awareness. A child who sits down at a piano for the first time and plays with the skill of someone who has studied for years might be accessing musical mastery from a past life as a composer or performer. Someone who seems to have an intuitive understanding of languages they've never studied might be remembering lifetimes spent in different cultures, speaking tongues that no longer exist in the modern world. These soul talents often come with an inexplicable sense of nostalgia, as if you're remembering something beautiful that was lost. You might find yourself moved to tears by your own abilities, not from pride, but from a deep sense of recognition and homecoming. It's as if some part of you is saying, "Yes, this is who I really am. This is what I've always known how to do." Sometimes these talents manifest in areas that seem to have no practical application in your current life circumstances. You might live in a landlocked area, but have an uncanny ability to navigate by the stars, as if you remember lifetimes spent at sea. You might find yourself skilled at crafts or techniques that were common in historical periods but have little relevance in the modern world. The most remarkable past life talents often come with detailed knowledge that couldn't have been learned from books or casual study. Someone with a talent for herbal healing might know specific combinations and techniques that aren't found in modern herbalism texts, as if they're remembering the practical wisdom of a past life as a village healer or wise woman. These soul memories don't just manifest as practical skills. They can also surface as artistic abilities, philosophical insights, or spiritual understanding that seems to come from a source deeper than your current education or experience. You might find yourself writing poetry in a style that echoes another era, painting scenes from places you've never been, or having profound spiritual insights that seem to come from lifetimes of contemplation and practice. Sometimes past life talents create conflict in your current life because they don't align with your chosen career path, your family's expectations, or the practical demands of modern existence. You might feel pulled toward pursuits that seem impractical or impossible, yearning to dedicate your life to mastering skills that don't fit into conventional career paths. Learning to honor these soul talents, to find ways to integrate them into your current life, even if they can't become your primary focus, is part of acknowledging the fullness of who you are. These abilities aren't random gifts. They're part of your soul's accumulated wisdom, skills you've developed across multiple lifetimes, as part of your eternal journey of growth and service. There are places on this earth that call to something deeper than your conscious mind, locations that seem to resonate with frequencies your soul recognizes even when your rational self insists you've never been there before. You see a photograph of a particular landscape and feel an overwhelming urge to go there, not as a tourist, but as someone returning home. You visit a historical site and feel emotions that seem wildly disproportionate to what should be a simple educational experience. These aren't just aesthetic preferences or romantic notions about exotic destinations. They're soul memories, calling you back to places where you've lived significant lifetimes, where important lessons were learned, where profound experiences shaped the being you are today. Your eternal self is drawn to these locations, like a compass needle pointing toward magnetic north, recognizing something essential that transcends the boundaries of your current identity. The most powerful past life location memories often come with specific, detailed knowledge that couldn't have been gleaned from books or documentaries. You might visit a historical site and know where things used to be that are no longer there, understand the purposes of structures that archaeologists are still debating, or feel emotional connections to specific spots that seem to hold personal significance. These location memories sometimes manifest as homesickness for places you've never lived, languages you find hauntingly beautiful even though you don't understand them, or architectural styles that make you feel peaceful and complete in ways that your current environment never has. You might find yourself decorating your home in a style that reflects another era, choosing foods from cultures you have no apparent connection to, or feeling most yourself when surrounded by elements that echo different times and places. The signs are everywhere once you know how to look. In your dreams that feel more real than waking life, in your body's inexplicable reactions to situations you've never encountered, in the souls you recognize instantly, even though you've never met them before, in your deepest fears that make no logical sense, in your talents that seem to flow from some infinite source within you, in the places that call to your soul with voices older than memory. Your soul remembers everything, every lifetime, every lesson, every love that has shaped the magnificent being you are today. These memories aren't lost. They're simply waiting for you to develop the awareness, the openness, the courage to recognize them. They're breadcrumbs, leading you back to the truth of your eternal nature, reminders that you are so much more than this single lifetime, this one identity, this temporary collection of experiences and circumstances. The veil between past and present grows thinner every day as more souls awaken to their true nature. The question isn't whether you've lived before. The question is whether you're ready to remember who you've been, to integrate the wisdom of multiple lifetimes, to step into the fullness of your eternal identity. Your soul is calling to you through every synchronicity, every moment of recognition, every inexplicable feeling of familiarity. It's time to listen. It's time to remember. It's time to honor the magnificent journey that has brought you to this moment, in this lifetime, with all the accumulated wisdom of ages flowing through your very being. Which of these signs resonated most deeply with your own experience? Have you felt the pull of past life memories trying to surface in your dreams, your fears, your unexplained talents, or your soul connections? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might be the key that helps another soul begin to remember their own eternal journey. And if you're ready to explore more mysteries of consciousness, reincarnation, and the hidden truths about who you really are, subscribe to join our community of souls who are awakening to the magnificent reality that exists beyond the veil of ordinary perception.